The final hand. The last hand. Both men had full house. There's 4 of each card in the deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. Next moment, game becomes argument. The defender's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? Because it wouldn't be very Ace Attorney if the witnesses actually did their job. They have to have the twist reveals. It wouldn't be Ace Attorney otherwise, Apollo. I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house, a very high scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience. Yeah, not in my experience too. I don't think I've ever, I think maybe I've gotten full house maybe once when I've had like a friendly game of poker with my family. But I think, as I said, I think it only happened once maybe, and that was like many years ago. It is indeed very hard to get a full house. So I think I did once get a very rare hand of, um, I think it was, what was it? Getting like the, when you get like the same number in order that you had matching colors, I think I managed to get that once, and that is also rare to get. That it follows the number and it is the same color, or well, the same pattern on them. I think. I know I played it recently-ish. That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics. Mr. Gavin? What's a full house? Oh, come on, Apollo. Full house is obvious. It means you have 3 plus 2 of a kind. Example, 3 kings, 2 queens. That makes a full house. Or 3 aces, 2 kings. That is what it means with a full house. It's a 3 of a kind and a 2 of a kind combined. Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker. I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice? You know the term 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes? Yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number makes a pair, and the 3 makes a 3 of a kind. Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and a 1 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it? You can see each player's hand in this photo. Wait, where does it... Oh, I see the cheat now. I think? No, wait, I don't. Never mind. I thought there was 2 of the same pattern, but it isn't. Oh, wait. How does it become a cheat? They both have 2 aces each. And then one of them 3 sevens, the other one 3 kings. I would have understood it was a cheat if someone had 3 aces and the other one 2 aces, because that would make it 5. But both of them have 2 aces each. That's completely possible. And then 3 7 3 kings, it is possible. Though very hard to pull off though, if both of them had got 2 aces, saving 2 aces, hoping to get 3 of something. That would be difficult though, but I don't see the cheat in the hand if I'm being completely honest. Though I guess the cheat is the fact that he got the highest or second highest form of full house with Shady Smith, whilst Phoenix got a regular with 3 sevens and 2 aces. Anywho, wow, they both have full houses. We forget there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat. The defense may cross-examine the witness. If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Cross-examination. The final hand. No, so thank you for all the kind words, Fairy. And yes, I do know you do gacha luck instead, which is its own, well, bag of worms. The last hand, both men had full house. There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument da. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand, poor Mr. Smith. First, she says it was a serious competition. Now she says there was cheating? Justice, notice anything odd? Her testimony keeps changing. Now she says the defendant cheated. Actually, yes, I had noticed that. Let's get the truth about this cheating first, shall we? Right, leave it to me. Alright, press for all of them. Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? It is quite hard, da. It is making a pair and a 3 of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word, it's a poker head of fortune number 3. Very difficult, da, but it's not impossible. Okay, full house hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. 4 of each card, you say? Da, there's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. Wait, hold up, actually. Now, I was just thinking that maybe the kings are different, but no. Even the kings are the same type of card. I still don't see the issue. Because the one above is a club. Yeah, it's a club ace and then a spade ace. Oh wow. Oh, I can look at the characters. I forgot about that. Christoph Gavin, age 32. Boss at Gavin Law Offices, a first-rate defense attorney and my trusted mentor. Phoenix Wright, 33 years old. Pianist at the Borch Bowl Club, formerly an ace defense attorney of some renown. Wasn't Phoenix like 21 or something like that in Ace Attorney? So this game takes place 10 years after the original trilogy then. Because not mistaken, he was like in his 20s, Phoenix Wright. We don't know Shady Smith's age. The victim in this case, a traveler only recently back in country. Winston Payne, 61 years old. The prosecuting attorney, for all his experience, he lacks a certain presence. Olga, age 21. The witness in this case, a Russian waitress at the Borch Bowl Club. There's 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number 4 comes from number of seasons. Huh, you don't say. And did you know that the cards are numbered 1 through 13? Add all the cards in a deck and you get 364 a year. Huh, you don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus, I have a perfect representation of the year. All in a deck of cards. Huh, you don't say. We're going to be in this courtroom for a year if this keeps going on like this. Alright, so I was still close though with 10, because it was 9, but saying 10 I was still close though. How was it clear? Duh, well, the defendant, he played a 5th ace. Where? Excuse me, where did he play a 5th ace? Where? There is no 5th ace in this picture. There are only 4 aces. What do you mean a 5th ace? That's clearly lying. There is no 5th ace. A fifth ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mrs. Smith's hand has 3 aces. And Mr. Wright's 2. Obviously cheating was afoot, or perhaps to say, a hand. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony, without Mr. Payne's joke. Very well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2, it is 5 aces in all. Let's just ask again. 5th ace. Should not exist, no. I still remember both hands very well. Okay, so just showing this picture again. I just want to know. Well, where did this card come from then? Perhaps we should ask the defendant that very question. Adding cards to a deck is no less serious a taboo than forging evidence in a court of law? Now, perhaps it's time for you to say something, Justice? You bet. I've no intention of staying quiet. Not me, no, sir. Better find some contradicting evidence fast. Okay, how was it exposed? Do you recall what the men were arguing about? I believe so. The victim, he shouts, "You are a cheater," and then the defendant shouts something like, "I have objections." Shouting objection, eh? Old habits are hard to break. First he bluffed his way through the courtroom, now he bluffs his way through life. However, Mr. Wright lost a hand. That seems to cast the shadow of doubt on Mr. Smith. Humiliation from losing even when cheating. That is what set fire to defendant's heart. So what did the flaming defendant do next? Right. By bottle, referring to this? The defendant uses this bottle to sob. This paper is an admission of cheating by the defendant. But why use grape juice bottle? You'd be surprised at what can be used as a weapon. This juice is recommended drink of Borscht Bowl Club Da. This year's vintage is remarkable for its hefty flavor. Hefty enough to brain a grown man, apparently. First she says it was a serious competition, now she says there was cheating. Justice, notice anything odd? Testimony keeps changing. Alright. I've heard everything. Now I need to point out the contradiction. Both men had full house, which is true. And she pointed out the 3 aces. But maybe that's a thing to present, because the 5th ace is nowhere to be seen on the picture, and she took a picture of it, and so did we, and there is no 5th ace on the picture, so this has to be the contradiction. However, we've already used this photo. It can't be the chips photo again. Because again, we've used this one when we counted the chip total. The only other picture that has chips would be the first crime photo. Right? That has to be the thing to call out on. Next moment, game becomes argument, defendant's trick was exposed. Wait, defendant. Wait a minute. The victim is Smith, because he's the one that died. Defendant is Wright. Wright had the 3 sevens, 2 aces. And Smith was the one with the 3 kings, 2 aces. And didn't she say it was like 3 kings, 3 aces? I have to look at the hand again. Hang on, I just have to look at the hand again. I'm just doing this to look at the hand. Let's look. Yeah! She says his hand, the 3 kings, 2 aces. Which is the victim's hand. Because Mr. Wright was 2 aces. But in the picture we see a 3rd king though. If she remembers 3 aces, why is it then 3 kings on the photo? That has to be the thing. There is no such thing as a 3rd ace. She's making this up. I'm just gonna present this photo and just assume it's gonna be this one a second time and not the crime photo. But then again, I just have to remember the playthroughs I've seen of Ace Attorney. Has it ever been a case where you have to present the same evidence multiple times in a court? And I think the answer to that might be yes. The same evidence has been presented multiple times. But I better just take the crime photo? Present the crime photo. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So be it. I mean, I can afford, health-wise, I can afford to be wrong. But this is a clearer picture. Okay, so it is same evidence, but not same witness. Okay, so then I can just use this one again. Objection! It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name? Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not? Justice? Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your point. Yes, please point to the contradiction in this photo. What particular point contradicts the witness's testimony? This. Why, it's there, of course. It's where? Where is it you're pointing? Where? Good question. We already heard today on the dangers of bluffing. So Your Honor, better rethink this. What do you mean rethink? TPS pointed you. What? I'm not supposed to point here? What? But this is a contradiction though. He has 3 kings, 2 aces. How is this not what I'm supposed to point at? What? There's no way I'm supposed to point at Phoenix's hand. There's no way I'm supposed to point at his because she remembers his hand. It is Smith's hand. She's wrong. But why was pointing at the kings wrong? I'm supposed to point at the aces? Have to be specific and point at the aces? Okay, you just have to be specific about the aces. Okay, game, okay. Miss Orley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Eek. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that held the 3rd ace in question. Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating alright, and it's going on right here in this courtroom. 2 aces in each player's hand, thus make 4 aces total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please! It's true! I have seen it! The 5th ace! There was cheating, I swear to you! That's odd. She must be lying, yet she's the most sincere I've seen her all day. You have to trust your instincts. Mr. Gavin? Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion. What might that be, Mr. Gavin? If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards. The cards? Mr. Payne. Yes? The player's hand at night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court. Very well, the prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? These cards don't prove cheating going on, nothing will. Now, which of these hands is more suspicious? The victim's hands, obviously. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would. Very well. What do you look at that? 3 kings and 2 aces. Well, time's a wasting. Get to it, Justice. Yes, sir. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Try using the right stick to turn it every which way and Y and X to zoom in and out. That should give you a better perspective on the case. Okay, let's do this. A blue card. That is cheating. So that's the cheat. Red, 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 blue, red. Because he said 2 decks were used to ensure no cheating. Yet he had a blue card. What? Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is a different color. That's impossible. If I put that card in Wright's hand. What was that, Miss Orley? Yet, I merely said, da, I have eek. Your Honor? Mr. Gavin, yes? Tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker? To cheat? I tell you, one merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean this witness, Miss Orley? She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Yeah. Order! Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. Of her mistakes. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat, not with my client, but with the victor, Miss Shady Smith. Sorry, Mr. Shady Smith. Ooh. But not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim. What? Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident. And if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek! Oh, she fainted. Yet her food landed perfectly. Mr. Payne, where's your witness, Miss Olga Orley? It appears she has lost, consciousness, Your Honor. Mr. Justice? Your Honor, it seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means this court cannot pronounce a verdict for the defendant at this time. What? I did it. I held out. I see no point of prolonging the trial this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries. Mr. Wright? No, you can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think, one of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous! Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright is a talent. What ridiculous! I mean, the judge is not right. He did, cross-examine a parrot after all. And a walkie-talkie, so, you know. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the fact about the game that fateful night. As was said before, we alternated between two decks of cards that night. That was said before. The two decks at the club have different colored back, blue and red. One color per deck. Why use different colored decks? If we use the same color, the two decks might get mixed. You use different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever, in the end, one card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet, this card raises two serious questions. Apollo? Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are three broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the new bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh? It might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. I'd like to hear what Paulo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into decks? When? Since Olga is the only one that recalls cheating, that means, though she was there during the game, I don't think it happened during. It had to have been before or after. It can't be any other possibility. When could her cards have been swapped? Alright, let's look here. In this one, that's the scene of the crime. That is the three kings. That is a picture she took. It also has the three kings. But with the altered king. Wait, heart, spade, diamond. Heart, spade, diamond. Okay, no. So they are the same cards on there. So it was... When? I did not manage to pick up a point in time for the swap. I actually didn't. I mean, it could have been before, because he was cheating. The fact that her picture and the murder picture are the same could suggest after the murder. Because she could have taken a picture of the crime after the fact, because after all, the pictures are identical. I don't think the swap happened during. I don't think that. Okay, I was just double checking to see if my co-counsel had anything for this, but nope. That means I have to figure this out myself, if it's before or after. Or during. Because I'm honestly lost on this with this. And it's not because I haven't followed the trial. That's not the case. I have followed the trial. It's just I have not picked up on any sort of thing that would suggest that it happened, that any of this thing happened before, or during, or after. Why did Phoenix have to do this? Why do you have to present something like this? Why do you have to do this to me? Why did I do this? Do to deserve this, Phoenix? What did I do? Is like anything here that could be an answer on when the swap was? You're just checking the backlog here sorry, the log here to see if I could possibly see, like, piece out when. Sure, someone said something about the blue cards. Wait, someone said something about the blue cards. Wait, he said the red. Wait a minute. Maybe I should go back to Phoenix's original if I can? Ah, I can't. That's unfortunate. I cannot go that far back. That would have been so helpful if I could go back to know if Phoenix said blue when he first played or if he said red. Apparently the answer was after. But if the answer is after, does that mean Phoenix contradicted himself at some point by saying blue but then red? Or was it just that Olga said blue for some and he thought of that? Was that ridiculous? What's the point of cheating after the hand have been shown? That's silly. Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over the impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible. Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color? If you pull that during the game, you've been caught in no time. Ah, quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card? Who? The game and the murderer is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room, alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who was it that swapped the red card for a blue? I mean, it had to have been Olga because she said she remembers cheating. And there were no third A's, but she remembers cheating. It had to have been Olga that swapped the cards. Because she remembers cheating. I don't think it's someone else. It has to be Olga. I'm sure it was her. So I'm gonna say Olga and see if I'm right. It must have been Olga who swapped the cards. She's trying to cover up evidence for cheating. After cheating. That does make some sense. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swap cards from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors. Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She was dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even a judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought. Okay, so it's supposed to be someone else. Alright. Someone else. Most of the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orley at this point. I did! Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. If the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Heh. Heh. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. It's alright, Faye. You don't have to apologize for it. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hands, and that someone made two critical mistakes. Sure, you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color card, because one who did the swap didn't know two colors of the cards were being used. The other mistake was the number one card, was the number on the card. Right. The person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True. Not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there was only 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Very well. The trial will resume in 20 minutes.